Okay, guys, this is the 5 minute maximum test that I did yesterday. I had told myself before the test that if I cannot make 420 watts on average, I will quit cycling and go back to running again. The background is that I have recently purchased an Favera Asioma watt pedal, and it shows about 8 to 9% lower watts than my trainer. So that means that I'm not as good as I thought I was. And I only switched to cycling because my potential within cycling was better than within running. That's the only reason I switched. So now that it dawned on me that I might not have as much potential, then there was no idea of continuing. So this test is done with the Favero Asioma pedal as the primary source. I was very doubtful before the test that I was gonna be able to make this. I thought I had a maybe 5% chance, and I had already begun looking for what running shoes I should use in my marathon build for Malta Marathon. So here it kicks off. My plan was to make a 15-second standing start on a higher gear and then sit down and then not be down to 420 watts, of course, after 1 minute because of that standing start, but to be somewhere around 430 to 450 watts on average. You can see my split there. I started it a little bit too late, and I did some standing sprint, so to speak, in the beginning. So the watts are actually a little bit higher than is showed here. So far, I'm doing good. There, I tried to gear down to gear 17 to get my RPM up to 100 to 105, but it didn't work. It felt much tougher, so I went back up to gear 18. I usually go at above 100, but recently I've been more strong around 90. I don't know why. Maybe it has to do with the watt pedal being the primary source. I don't know. So here, over a minute, I passed the first minute with an average of 431 watts, which is okay. It's according to plan. During the second minute, I thought I could not rest, but stabilize my performance a little bit. Not to go down. The average couldn't go below 420. Preferably, it was to stay around 425, so I have some leverage room. But here I'm getting more and more tired, even though my heart rate is quite low. My maximum heart rate is 187, and I had taken a lot of caffeine, so much I wouldn't even say here on the video how much I had taken. So it's strange that the heart rate is not higher. So 2 minutes at 421 watts. That means the second minute had an average of 411 watts, which is not that good compared to how tired I am right here. And right now, through my head, I was thinking, this is not gonna go well. I mean, that's my cycling career. That was exactly what was going through my head here. But I thought, you never know. Sometimes it feels very tough, but you can get going and it doesn't get more tough. You can keep on at the same watts. Here I tried to stand up a little bit. I geared up to gear 20 to see if that would relieve the pressure somehow. It did a little bit, and I don't know why I eventually sat down again here. As you can see now, I geared down to gear 18 and sat down again. It got me a little breather, so I thought maybe I sit down and I'd be a little bit more rested in those muscles I use when I sit down. But here I'm dead tired, and I'm losing. You can see my average is down below 416, and I was so tired at this point that I thought, will I even finish above 400? But I thought I must finish it at least. I must finish it. I can't stop now. Right here, I tried to gear down to gear 17 again to raise my cadence. Didn't work. Was even more tough. So here I stand up again. I gear up to gear 20 because I figured I need to do something. If I sit down using gear 18, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not even gonna get 400 watts on average. So I stand up in a last desperate attempt. You see in gear 20. And then somewhere around here, I think I gear up. Yeah, there it comes. I gear up because I see I don't get enough power on gear 20. I will never get back to 420. So I passed 415 at 412 watts on average. And here I am, of course, dead tired, but it's not as bad as I thought. I mean, gearing up, using my whole body, pulling with my arms, and pushing down with my legs, I am able to do a sprint here. And actually, I feel very strong. I mean, there's no problem. I'm not gonna fall apart. And you see here, I get up to 420. And that's it. That's the 5 minutes. I got up to 420. And actually, when I calculated that, it means since I was at 415 at 412 watts, it means I did the last 45 seconds with an average of 465 watts. That's pretty amazing. And afterward, you can, by the way, if you look at ride stats, you see that my 5 minute is actually 422, not 420. And that's because I started the split a little bit later than I started my initial sprint in the beginning. And actually, when I looked in Training Peaks and when I looked in Zwift online after the session, it says that I actually did 424 watts and not 422. And every watt actually matters to me right now. So yeah, I made it. I never thought I would. I had already canceled my gym membership because I don't need that if I'm gonna switch to running. I have began looking at running shoes because I sold some of those of my rotation when I went into cycling. There you see it's 423 in this, but 424 when you look online later. I never thought I would do it. After 2 minutes, I was pretty certain I wouldn't be able to make it, and at 3:30 into this, I was absolutely certain that I was not gonna make it. But I thought, if I will never be cycling again, if this is the last I ever do on my Zwift bike, at least I should go through the pain of 1 minute and 15 more seconds. I just couldn't live with myself if I didn't even finish the session. So I needed to do that, and it was very, very unexpected that I could stand up and gear up and get that much power. And this actually opens the door, because I never used this technique before. I always went high cadence and a pretty low gear. But if I can stand up and get this power, I mean, if I would just have stood up 15 seconds or 30 seconds before I stood up this time around, I think I could have gotten even more. And through my head, I'm thinking, could I stand up the whole 5 minutes? Or maybe at least 3 of those minutes? First an initial burst, maybe 1 minute, then I sit down for 2 minutes, and then I stand up for the last 2 minutes or 3 minutes, depending on how I choose to pace it. Yeah, I think I could actually, because after this, I cooled down a little bit, but then I did some VO2 max intervals. And I was able to do 4 minute intervals of 450 415, I think. 415, and then one in 395, and then another one at 400, I think. And it actually felt quite good standing up. So I will definitely try that more, and I will ask my coach how I can use this to my benefit, because I think leg strength is even more important now if I'm gonna stand up a lot more. I don't know if I could stand up for longer, for a longer time than that. I mean, I couldn't imagine it could be efficient to do that for 20 minutes. I just cannot imagine it. But maybe I can switch between standing and sitting for a 20-minute session. Maybe. But this is good. I really wanted to complete this, and I did. So I'm very happy with that, actually, because otherwise I would have wasted like 8 or 9 weeks on the bike when I could have been running. So I'm happy. At least I have a future. I don't think I have any chance whatsoever to qualify for national championships this time around, but I will at least try. And the main goal is to do it the next year instead. So this is just test, you can say, to gain some valuable experience. If I don't make it next time, though, I will quit. So I will be cycling for at the most 1.5 years. Not more than that. Then I will go back to running, or I will quit endurance sports whatsoever, because I am quite old. I'm 47 years old now, and I don't think the future is there for me. So if I gotta perform, I gotta do it now, or within a year. But otherwise, it's probably not gonna happen. Or if I get stuck at a certain level, let's say if in 6 months I don't improve this 5-minute power, let's say I'm stuck at 435 in 6 months, I'm gonna quit, because that basically means I've reached my potential. But I don't think that will be the case. I actually don't. I think in 6 months I will be at 460. Maybe that's a bold statement to make, but I think it's possible if I train properly, 15 hours a week, and some strength training, and really concentrate on gaining strength. I think it's a possibility. If I wouldn't, I just wouldn't go for this, because it's a much more pleasant lifestyle to be a runner than to be a cyclist, because the time that you have to spend on training is much lower when you're a runner, because you can't run that much with a risk of getting injured. But anyway, I succeeded, and I'm happy, and now I look forward to the future. You will see me around.